Alrighty, hello everyone. Mr. Ross is back at it. We are here. We are thriving. Mr. Cubby, let me tell you, man, it's raining a lot. It doesn't stop raining. Malachi, I hope you're eating as many sandwiches as possible because, quite frankly, there's nothing else to really do right now besides just eat. So everyone just eat up. Noreen, you eat your salads. I know you love your salads. Alrighty, everyone else, shout out to all you guys. Keep on crushing it. You're doing awesome with the online school. So, I'm just going to review over some mixed numbers, alright? So, let's practice saying these out loud. Mr. Cubby, if it snowed 1.5 inches, how would I say that? Oh, wait, I already said it out loud. So, here we go. 1.5. That's how we would say it. Just like that. These are mixed numbers. We would say that as 1 and 1/2, or in this case we could say it as 1 and a half. So I want you guys just to practice right now, just saying both of those out loud, just so you get familiar with how to say these mixed numbers. Sound good? Loving it. Alrighty, so next one, let's make a drawing. Mr. Cubby, you're everywhere today. Mr. Cubby has 4.5. Notice how I said that. 4.5. 4 1/2. Chips Ahoy for snack. What would his snack look like? Well, let's make a picture. So, Mr. Cubby, here's your first cookie. Draw some chocolate chips in there too. That's his first Chips Ahoy. Mr. Cubby wasn't done yet. He's like, want another one. And he's like, I'm not done yet. I want another one. He's like, Mr. Ross, I'm not done yet. I'm going to swallow down another Chips Ahoy. And he got to the last one. He's like, you know what? I can only have half of this one. So, guess what? I'm just going to draw a semicircle or a D, and that'll be my half a cookie. Mr. Cubby's like, I think we're good there. So, let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4 cookies. We got to the end here, and we had a half. So that's how we would get 4.5, just like Mr. Cubby had for snack. Sound good? I know, Jordan, you're a big animal cracker guy, but don't worry. Chips Ahoy's are good too. Alrighty, coloring in now. Woo, here we go. So we're going to color in these shapes to draw what number? 4.5, just like we had up above. So the first one, let me get a different stylist out here. Yeah, I'm pretty fancy. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. This is going to be my first circle I'm going to shade in, because that's a hole. Remember, when we shade in the entire thing, that's one hole. Same thing here. I'll speed this up a little bit. That's our second one. And here we go. This is our third one. Now, we're on our fourth one. Here we go. I know I'm kind of going outside the lines here, but that's okay. And now, that's one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 now. Let's be careful on the last one to just shade in half. We're just going to shade in half because it's 4.5. Our mixed number is 4 1/2, just like we had above. So that's how we be shading. So all that just a review for right now. Now we're going to get into the bulk of the lesson for today. So right now, I want us to look at these two snacks we got going on here. Oreos this time, not Chips Ahoy. We're going to mix it up a little bit, So, it's been a long day. Mr. Plunkett, you're hungry, man. So is Angelina. Who ate more Oreos? Well, let's take a look. Let's count up Mr. Plunkett's here. Mr. Plunkett, you, my friend, I didn't know you like Oreos this much. Wow. You had what? 1, 2, and we can say this last one as what? Yes, a half. Because we can see that Mr. Plunkett had directly half of that Oreo. He cut it in half. He's like, you know what? I'm good with this half. I'm going to be full after this one. Sound good? Alrighty. So, Mr. Plunkett, as you can see here, had 2.5 Oreos. Mr. Plunkett, you got a lot of time. Look at your trucks now. Oh, I'm sure you're excited about your trucks. There you go, kid. Alrighty, now, Angelina, you had cheer practice this day. You had track. You're hungry, so you're eating some Oreos. Here we go. Let's see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're like, yeah, got to the last one, you had half. So Angelina had 4.5 Oreos. Now, there's two ways to look at this. Right off the bat, you could have just said, clearly Angelina, she has more Oreos on her plate. So Angelina ate more Oreos. And also, you could see that Plunkett only had 2.5. So right off the bat, we could say, okay, 4 versus 2, 4 is bigger. Angelina, she ate more Oreos. But right there, we just compared mixed numbers. So in this case, Angelina ate more Oreos. So that's our first example of comparing mixed numbers. Pretty good. You guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it. I miss you guys so much too. Talking to my iPad, not the same. One of these days I'll get a live video going. Mr. Ross, believe it or not, has actually been making his own coffee. Yes, believe it or not, he makes his own coffee. It's crazy. Times are changing. Alright, let's take a look at another one. We're going to use our less than, our greater than, or our equal to symbol to compare the following mixed numbers. Now, I have mine right here, 3.5, right? That is the fraction, mixed number 3.5. Over here, I have the mixed number 5.5. Now, the first thing we need to do is look at the big numbers. Look at the big numbers. And we can see what? In this case, we can see that this is our big number, the 3, and the 5 is our big number. The 1/2, those are the fractions. Let's keep this simple, like you guys were doing on your IXL the other day. 3 is smaller than 5, right? So in this case, the mixed number 3.5 is less than, I'll write less than underneath too, just so we can see. 3.5 is less than 5.5. So right off the bat there, we can just look at the bigger number to compare these mixed numbers. Sound good? Jordan, I'll give you a cry for it. Jordan, I know you appreciate that one. Alrighty. Let's go to the next page. And Jordan, I have not seen my grandmother. She came by the other day. She didn't drop off food. She dropped off some magazine or something. I don't know. But I did see my grandma, Jordan. So I was thinking of you. Alright, so example 2. Use less than, greater than, or equal to compare the following mixed numbers. So, same thing here. Let's look at our big numbers we got. The 3 and the 3. Well, it turns out what? That 3s, they're both actually what? They're the same number. So that's not, in this case, we now need to look at the fractions. 1/2 and 1/4, or a quarter. So, I'm gonna draw 2 circles here. Draw a circle here and a circle here. I'm gonna cut this one directly in half, like we were doing on actually one of those worksheets before we left. So I'm gonna cut that circle in half and I'm gonna shade it blue. Sorry about my shading. There we go. Now, I'm going to take my other circle, I'm going to cut it into fourths, because, right, this is quarters. So when we see something in quarters, that means let's cut it into fourths. So 1, and then 2, there we go. So now this has what? 1/4. So I'm going to shade 1 of the 4. Sound good? So now, looking at these two, pretend this is chocolate cake. And you can have this one right here, or you could have this one right here. In this case, I'm hungry. So you know what? I'm going to eat this guy right here because he has more. He has more. So in this case, 3.5 is greater than, put greater up top, than 3 1/4, because a half is greater than 1/4 or 1/4. So that's how we could use our diagrams and pictures to help us with this one. Sound good? Alrighty. So at any point during this video, you're like, Mr. Ross, you know what? Haven't heard your voice in a while, but I'm getting pretty bored of you. That's okay. You can skip forward and move as you please on YouTube and kind of go from there. So let's take a little example 3. We're almost done, I promise. All right, so I can use these 3 symbols again to compare the following mixed numbers. Here we go. So let's see. I have 4 and 2/4, and now I have 4 and 3/6. So, shall we? Let's take a look. We have our 2 fractions right here, our 2 big numbers, 4 and 4. Those are the same. So looking at the bigger numbers is not going to help us in this case. Let's look at the fractions. I have 2/4 and 3/6. So just like I did before, I'm going to make 2 circles. Now, the 2/4 I'm going to cut into 4 equal pieces because it's fourths, quarters, cut into fourths. So now 3/6, I need to cut that into 6 equal pieces. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to draw 1, 2, so I have 4, and I just draw one more line, just like that. And now I have 6 pieces in this one. Sound good? So for the first one, let's shade in 2 out of the 4. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. Now I'm going to be precise with my shading, sorry. Now, so that's 2 of the 4 now, and this one's coloring 3 of the 6. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Looking good. Alright, so we got the idea. Now, let's compare these. Because I'm trying to think right now, which of these cakes do I want more of? Which one has more? And you know, it looks like they're about the same. I think they are actually the exact same. In fact, they are because 2/4 is half of 4 and 3/6 is half of 6. So in this case, these are equal. So these 2 mixed numbers are actually equal to each other. Sound good? Because 2/4 is half and so is 3/6. That's half the cake. So in this case, those are equal to each other. Sound good? All right, moving on to the back page. We'll do a word problem. We'll end here. So Mr. Ross is taking his period 8 math class, of course, my favorite class, out for some thin crust pizza. Emphasis on the thin crust pizza. I love thin crust pizza. But Mr. Ross, as always, is super hungry. So Mr. Ross eats 4 7/8 slice of pizza. And his period 8 class ate 4 3/8. So who ate more, Mr. Ross or the period 8 math class? Well, shall we find out? We shall. So I'm going to color this in red for pizza. Now, here we go. For Mr. Ross, I ate 4 7/8. So that means I ate 4 entire pizzas. Yes, believe it or not, I can do that. So briefly right now, I'm just going to color in. Put some marinara sauce on here. Get some cheese on there later. I'm just coloring in 4 whole slices. Alrighty. So we got the idea. That's pretty much 4 whole slices. Now, I ate 7 out of the 8 slices right here. I also ate 4 7/8. I'll highlight that. So I'm going to shade in 7 out of the 8. So let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to be very precise here. I'm just going to shade in 7 out of the 8. Because this represents 4 7/8. Sound good? Now, the period 8 class, you guys have 4 3/8. So I'm going to shade in 4 whole pizzas. Go again with the marinara sauce. Here we go. Very nice. Very nice. Very good, very good. Now, they also have 4 3/8. So I'm going to just shade in 1, 2, 3. Just those 3. I'll be very precise once again. Alrighty. So, like we're looking at the last problem. Let's take a look. So we all have 4 entire pies. So this one's good, this one's good, this one's good, this one's good. 4, 4, 4. We all have 4. Now, really what we're concerned about is this last one, right? This last pie right here. These two. I'm drawing this line connecting these. which pie has more of the slices already eaten? Well, in this case, I had 7. These 7 slices were the ones I ate. So those 7 look a lot more than those 3. So in this case, Mr. Ross actually ate more pizza because I have 4 and 7 out of the 8 slices versus you guys have 4 and just 3 of the 8 slices in the last pizza. So at the bottom here, I'm just going to write Mr. Ross had more pizza. And that is going to conclude our notes on mixed numbers. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. Have fun, be safe, eat pizza, eat food. Mr.